Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching. This is Zuzana Mukumai, and today there is another episode of the Real Intercultural Couples, and I have very interesting guest today. Hello, Burren, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much, Susanna, for having me. I am so excited for today's conversation.
Yes, me too, actually, because I love the combination. You are Zambian, your husband is Haitian, and I can't wait to talk about it. But before we jump into it, can you tell us a bit more about yourself? What is your story?
Okay, so I'm Zambian, born and bred, raised in Zambia. I moved to Shanghai almost 10 years ago, actually. And I met my husband here, and he's Haitian. I've known him for 6 years, but we've only been married for 1 year this in a few weeks actually. It's a 1 year anniversary, so yay! And we have a little one on the way, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's so exciting, and congratulations for the wedding anniversary. That's good we
Thank
remember it.
you.
We have to also remind it to your husband. Maybe we will get into it if also men from Haitian, if they forget about anniversaries. And congratulations on the little one coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Susanna.
And of course, like I'm curious, like what actually brought you to China, to Shanghai, and how did you meet your partner?
So it's very interesting. For me, from a young age, I had this dream about Beijing. It's something I used to watch on the TV or something, and every time they talk about China, they'll talk about Beijing. And I've always loved martial arts. So I used to think one day, if I go to China, I'm going to be like a kung fu master. And it's not true. It's so different. And then when I got older, I saw something very sad on the TV, and then I was like, oh, I think these two people are arguing because they don't understand each other. If I could just learn Chinese, since I already speak English, then maybe I could help to translate for like local people when they're like having a hard time, and then just like have some peace when like people cannot communicate. So my father took me to Chinese International School. And at Chinese International School, I aced the exams. And then my Chinese teacher was like, you should probably pursue Chinese. So then I went to the Confucius Institute at the University of Zambia to do a bachelor's in Chinese language and Chinese studies. And my professor there was like, you need a scholarship to go to China. I'm like, everybody's just moving me around like a ball. So I got a scholarship for 1 year. It was a beautiful full ride. I applied for 6 months, but my professor applied for a 1 year scholarship. So when it came, I got a scholarship for 1 year. And after 1 year, it was self sponsorship. And 10 years later, I'm still here.
I love it. It's amazing. Like just like by listening, I feel like all the positive energy, and it's awesome. I have been in China only a couple of days when I lived in Mongolia, and I loved it. Like I love
It's
Chinese
beautiful.
food. Yeah.
It's a nice place, honestly. Well, Shanghai is very expensive, but it's also a place that has a lot of opportunities. So I think it's pretty balanced. Plus, I met my
Mm.
husband here, so
And
yay!
that's where I was heading now. How a Zambian woman meets Haitian man in China. How did that happen?
Dance. Dance. So, my husband is a professional dance teacher, and when I met him, he was in a relationship, I was in a relationship, and none of us, I think, either even thought about it. It was just, oh, I really like dancing with this person. And everybody will be like, oh, you guys have such chemistry. And I'm like, no, we don't. And then few years down the line, ta-da! Like
Mm.
we met again. Like a few years later, started talking a little bit more, and then oh, you're single, and I'm single. Okay, so maybe let's think about it.
It
So
was meant to be.
it was meant to be. It was really, really meant to be. So we're still dancing, and now we're still teaching to dance. Actually, now I help him with the dance classes. So it's just been we dance all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it because you know why? My husband is also professional dancer and choreographer. With the only difference, I am terrible with dancing. I can't hear a beat, so I can do a bit of salsa, but that's about it. Like when I see them doing kizomba and this kind of dances, like I'm like, this is not happening for me.
And that's the thing. And my husband is a professional kizomba teacher, so
Oh
he
my
teaches.
goodness.
So he teaches kizomba and Brazilian zouk and Haitian compa and
Oh my
samba, and he
goodness.
dances Dominican bachata and salsa.
Hmm.
So it's
Now
amazing.
I have just created a new question I have to ask you today.
Okay.
About dancing and being in a relationship. That's gonna be really
Uh-huh.
interesting. So you guys who are watching, wait for it because I bet you will love this discussion. But before we jump into that exciting question, I'm already excited about it. It's you said like you met like you were together about 6 years, then you got married. Now you have a baby on the way. Did you have some challenges? Like, what was the most difficult about maybe being intercultural couple who also live abroad? You are not living in home country of either of you. What was the most difficult?
I think in terms of relationships, probably culture plays a huge part in the challenges when you think something should be a certain way, but it's actually not the way it is. So your expectations might cause you to conflict because you're like, oh, but you should do this. And it's like, no, but I don't have to do this. But because you've been raised in a certain environment, so for you, what might be okay might actually be very uncomfortable for the other person. um how you refer to them, how you talk to them. My husband, for example, my husband is very jovial. He's very jovial, he's a friendly person. And so some where I come from, some people might see it as, oh no, he's talking to too many ladies. Like, that's not a good thing. He's talking to too many ladies. But where he comes from, it's such a norm to be jovial and be able to just conversate with anybody. But where I come from, especially in Zambia, which is my home and where I've been all my life, there's that very, I could almost call it strict. Like there's where men should not hang around too many women because then it's not a good thing for the relationship. So you learn to understand and see, okay, there's actually nothing wrong with my husband having to communicate with his people as long as I trust him and he trusts me. So I feel like culture was like the biggest shock for us, but I'm also very happy that through communication, we have learned to accommodate each other and understand each other, and also accept the fact that we're two different people from two totally different places, and we have to do everything that we can to make it work. So
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's you said it nicely, like the realization that we are two separate human beings which come from two completely different countries, like which are on the other side of the world. Like it's so important to acknowledge that because I
Yes.
don't know how about you, but often like when I was in my first big intercultural relationship, which did not work out, I felt like everybody must feel the same way I do, and then I start realizing that that's not the way. And we keep learning, like even me, I am with my husband like over 6 years, and still like we still find new culture differences. Like for example, what happened on Saturday, we had a salsa night here in Kitwe, and then I came with my son, and he was like, oh, you can sit with my husband's friend. But I didn't like see her there, and she didn't invited me to sit with her. So I then went around with my son, and I sit at different table. And then after the evening, my husband said, but why you are so unfriendly, you didn't sit at the with her. And I was like, that's, you're not supposed to sit at the table with somebody unless they tell you please come and sit. And these kind of things, like it can create
It
tensions.
it can. It can. It really can, because I know, also for me, there I would send my mom like my husband's dance videos, but like with other ladies, and my mom would be offended. She's like, what are you doing taking videos of your husband dancing with other women? And I'm like, Mom, he's a dance teacher. He's bound to dance with other women. And she's like, so you're just sitting there watching other women, and you know how kizomba is. And my mom is from a different era. So she's like, no,
Well,
this is not acceptable.
yeah, like I can understand your mom because I usually joke with my husband that like kizomba should be illegal, and the way they even dance here at the dance class, it's not the close one. Like they still have a distance, so it's still like a couple of levels like
Yeah,
better. I don't know how your husband dance kizomba, but I can understand somehow, especially for us
like
who don't
this.
dance.
Like this.
Oh,
And honestly, the thing is, maybe because I dance and I've danced with so many people, it's much easier for me to understand that you can't have the connection that people think you're having with the person, with just everybody, no matter how close you are. You can dance so close with somebody and still have it be the most horrible dance ever. And it requires a lot of chemistry and connection to actually be able to feel very different. So it's like when people see me and my husband, they're like, your husband dances closely with so many people, but it's just very different when you two dance, because every dance is different. It can't be the same. But for people who don't dance, all they see is body connection, body connection, body connection. I'm like, it's not like that. It's really not. But I really enjoy it. I enjoy dancing so much.
yeah, I enjoy it too. It's just because my kind of kizomba love and hate relationship to kizomba. It's like I love how it looks. It looks so beautiful. And like what why I probably hate it is because I can't do it, and it drives me crazy. Like I can't
Ah,
do it. It's funny, when I was in Mongolia, I was going to salsa and kizomba classes because that was one of the few things I could be doing there. And that's how I found my very good friend in that class, because we were like supposed to dance kizomba, and we looked at each other like, this dance, like it's impossible, and we went out to have a drink, and that's how we became good friends, by ditching kizomba. But it's just, it looks so beautiful, and I just can't do it because I don't hear the beat. So that's why probably I have the love and hate relationship. And then when I see my husband dancing, and um, now on Saturday actually they were dancing kizomba to one of the Zambian songs, like that was amazing. I
oh
loved it.
wow. I'd love to see that. I'd
Yeah,
love
I
to.
will ask for the song, and I will send it to you because it was a really, yeah. So
Yay! I'm
maybe you can
excited.
start also having kizomba classes on some Zambian music in China.
Yes. Yes, we're
And
always
because
looking
and
for
that was
things.
actually the one question I wanted to ask you, and I think you kind of already answered it. It's because this kind of jealousy thing, like if one of the partners is a dancer, and especially if they dance like dances like kizomba, um, like how do you deal with it? Because apparently you are a dancer, so you have a different perspective. So maybe what would be your advice to women who feel uncomfortable when they see their partners dancing? And he doesn't have to be a dance teacher, right? Like for example, like with lots of men in Africa, they just love dancing. Like dancing is
True,
here is something different than what is it in Europe. So
true.
also like I know that some of my clients, they had issues with this because they felt uncomfortable. So is there something you would like to say about that?
So actually, it doesn't matter in terms of jealousy. Even if you are a dance teacher, there is very much human like to feel jealous when somebody you really care for and somebody you really love feels like, when you feel that the person you love or you care for or the person you want is having a connection that you don't have with them. It's usually from a personal point of view. And my thoughts are, when you have enough trust for your partner and enough self-confidence within yourself, the idea of feeling jealous because your partner is dancing with somebody else is reduced a lot. For example, my husband dances so many dances, and I can dance all of them as well as some of his students can. Like some of his students have been learning with him way longer. Even if I knew him for a very long time, we haven't been dancing together all the time. I didn't learn with him all the time. He's been dancing for a very long time. He's been teaching for a very long time. So his level of dancing and my level of dancing in certain dances is just too far apart for me to even dare to compare. So he has, for example, Brazilian zouk. I started learning Brazilian zouk not too long ago. So he does have like some students who've been learning with him for a very long time, so they dance really, really, really well. And it's something that you see that when they dance, when he dances with them, how he feels is different. But the question comes in, how much do I trust him? And what is making you jealous? What is making me jealous? So for me, I feel like I have so much confidence in myself and in our relationship that when I see him dance, I see the art. I don't try to imagine what he's feeling. The problem is people try to imagine what she's feeling. Is she attracted to this guy? Is she feeling in a way that I can't make her feel? And I think that's what causes a lot of conflict. Because even dance teachers fight. They fight because one partner is feeling like you're too emotionally connected with this other person and you're not with me. So I think it's something that should be discussed between the two people. It's really not no matter what anybody else tells you, it's something you have to discuss with your partner. What things make you comfortable? And I think if your partner respects you and they love you, then they'll make adjustments. Even if my husband is a dance teacher, he does not dance the way he dances with me, with just everybody, just because he's a dance teacher. For the sake of respecting our marriage, and also for other people to know that there are boundaries. So I think it's something that you just have to discuss.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for this. And yeah, there were two things I loved about what you said, especially the way you said that we what cause problems is that we try to imagine how those people dancing are feeling. And we create these stories in our head, like, oh, maybe
Yes.
he's attracted to him, or maybe
Yes.
he's attracted to her because I
Yes.
can't dance like that. And like these are actually just stories in our head,
Yes.
right? And
And
they
they
might
could
not be
grow.
true.
and they could grow. If you feed on them so much, if you keep telling yourself so much that your partner might be attracted to this person, it grows so much. Even before your partner is done dancing, you have already created conflict. By the time you're having the conversation, you're blowing out because you've already fought your partner in the head, you know. So it's
Yeah.
all in here. It's really
Yeah,
all in the head.
exactly. And it goes to the second thing which I loved about what you said is the self-confidence. Because most of the time, like I think we are not jealous unless we are insecure in some way. It doesn't have to be, I think, about the relationship, but about ourselves.
Yes.
Like I'm not good enough. There are so many women who are smarter, more sexy, more beautiful, and like all these things, like which are deep. Like it's difficult to go inside and like look.
True. That is very true. So, self confidence and a good mental health, they will help you to feel less jealous.
Yeah, especially like really like the mental fitness. It's kind
Yes.
of once we discover that these voices in our head, it's not actually us, it's the inner
Yeah.
critic, or you can call it the judge or
Yeah.
resistance or whatever. Like it's just those voices we keep hearing and they're actually lies, and we can
Yes.
choose not to listen to them.
And or just shut them out. It's just something you really have to train yourself. I have people who feel jealous when my husband is dancing with another woman. I'm like, how? Because people literally make a line. If we go to a dance party, they make a line for my husband to dance with, just with my husband. We He has ladies offering him all kinds of drinks because they're hoping, to get a dance, because they just aren't so many guys who are as good. And so you see all this attention that he's getting, and you're just like, wow, this is very interesting. It's really interesting.
And
But
this is I love that you are saying it, because it's also the matter of perspective. Like for example, this one, like what you just said, like that women are lining for him to dance with him. If I wouldn't dance a bit, I well, my dancing is terrible, but I still dance a bit. If I wouldn't dance, I would be like, oh my goodness, why they are lining up for him? But because I know how big difference it makes when you dance with a good dance partner. Like it's like there is every time every single teacher of dance is always women want to dance with him, they don't want to dance with the other guys who also don't know how to dance.
yes,
And
true.
it's just like another perspective which can really help to dissolve like possible conflict.
Yes, yes.
Because
So for my husband and I, we love to laugh. We laugh a lot about a lot of things. So he would get drinks, and he's like, "We got drinks. Would you like anything? Because there's so many people who want to dance with me. So you need to tell me what you want to drink, so they can order you some drinks." We have that understanding. I could choose to get upset and be like, why are they ordering you drinks? We can afford to get our own drinks. But I also do understand that if I were in their shoes, there is so much demand and such little supply of good leaders. So I could understand the desperation of somebody just wanting to enjoy one dance and trying to go the extra mile. He's had ladies lick him on the dance floor. I'm like, what is going on here? But he's so funny. He's like, what are you doing? And you know, in everything, I feel like everything is about perspective. You can't choose to get mad at your partner for how some people will behave, but you can choose. Well, you can't get mad at how everybody's behaving, but I think his response is what should bring you the reassurance. So even if he gets all this attention, he's still very humble. And even with all that attention, he still respects the fact that all these women give me attention, but I have my wife, and
mm,
this is my wife. And I think that is very important in a relationship, because The reassurance should not come from you. You should not have to remind your partner to remind other people that he's married. His behavior, how he behaves, how he treats you. When we walk in a dance party, they know that he's with his wife, and that's his wife. And even if he's a teacher, everybody knows I get the first dance. I didn't set that rule, but my husband has just made it that way. So I probably never told him, but I really appreciate it because he makes everybody know that as long as I'm not ready to dance, he'll be like, please wait. I have to dance with my wife first. And then I'll come to you later. You know, I get the first dance and the last dance. So I'm like,
No, that's
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
that's
I
my
love it.
husband. So when they say last song, he's like, I have to find my wife. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
think it's so interesting how dancing is surrounded by lots of, I would say, like maybe stereotypes and misconceptions, like that often, like my husband tells me, there are men, they want him to teach them how to dance so they can be close to the women, but that's not like how it's supposed to be. That
true.
so it's interesting, and I didn't expect that this conversation will be around dancing and relationship
Right.
and jealousy, but it's been really interesting.
Well, it has been interesting for me too. Yeah, it took a turn. The conversation took a turn.
Yeah, maybe we should do also episode number 2, because I would have
Probably.
20,000 of other questions. But I'm curious, one maybe last two questions. Like we said, Zambia, Haiti, it's quite, I have never been to Haiti or that side of world. So I can imagine some things are pretty similar to Africa and some things may be very different. So
Mm.
can you think of some example or something what happened to you too, like which was something completely different, like how Zambians are and how Haitians are?
Okay, so in terms of um let's start with just even dance. So we dance in Zambia, but most of our dances are not partner work. And in Haiti, they have a lot of connection dances. So this was already very natural for my husband. And so for me, also before I started all this kizomba compa journey, I would be like, that looks too close. That's a little bit. We don't dance like that where I come from. And so for him, it was just so natural. And he would be like, no, you can dance kizomba with your grandma, with your wife, with your mom. I'm like, I cannot dance kizomba with my dad. That is not happening. And he's just like, what's wrong with it? I'm like, you don't see anything wrong with it? There's everything wrong with it.
I have to ask my husband if he would dance kizomba with his mom now. Yes.
So, so he's like, I dance with my mom, but in Haiti they dance more compa. And compa is it's like kizomba but slower. And I'm thinking, I could not imagine having to dance with my father like this. Not even on my wedding day. This would be a taboo for where I come from. And for him, he's like, but what's wrong with it? It's just a dance. It's a decent dance. I'm like, I don't think we're looking at the same
A
thing.
decent dance.
And then after I got into the dance, he said to me, he said, okay, look, dancing is dependent on who you're dancing with. You can use the same music, kizomba music or compa music, to dance with your mom. Now, how you hold your mom is not the same way you're going to hold your grandma. It's not the same way you're going to hold your wife. So I started to understand. I'm like, oh, I would still have to explain that to my dad because I don't see it happening. I do not see it happening. So that was for me like a really like huge difference how they're just able to dance with everybody. But for us, it's like the boundaries are so thick that it would never even cross your mind, to dance couple dances with like your parents. So that's just one of the many cultural shocks for me, I
I am
think.
being shocked by listening. And imagine I am like from Czech Republic. So when I came to Zambia, I was like, oh my God, how these people are dancing. Like it's so close. And you see like, and you comparing it to Haiti, like what I would do if I went there. And yeah, it's for me, it was kind of shocking also when I saw how people dance here. Like, I mean, not on the wedding, but in a nightclub,
Mm,
it's still very
mm,
close compared to how Europeans dance, right?
of course, of course.
So so I love it, like how you describe actually like how you see it, how he sees it, and there are two different perspectives, and yeah, it's just people have different perception of the things.
So
It's
different.
beautiful, kind of.
It is. It is. So interesting to learn. And this is one thing I always tell my husband. I say, the best part about intercultural marriages is this vast knowledge that you just never stop learning, because I feel like no matter how long you've been married to a person, there's always something new to learn. And for me, this is so exciting. I love learning new things. So,
Mm. Yeah. Like that's what I also love about it. Like it's continuous learning, and it's fun, and it's really hard. Sometimes you feel like what I'm doing, why I am in this country, but like I think overall it's worth it. And Buren, I know we could talk probably for another 1 hour, but I see we are running out of time. So I wanted to ask you if you have one final thought, what you would recommend women who are also like both of us in intercultural relationship. What would you tell them if they want the top one thing, if they want to make their relationship amazing and they want to make it work?
without thinking, I would say dance, but um, communicate. Allow your heart and your mind to be open to the fact that you're from two different places, and whether you're of the same skin color, it doesn't matter. You still have different cultures. Even within one country, one could be from the east and one could be from the west, and you'll be completely different. So my advice would be open for communication, because communication will allow you to explore everything. If you do not communicate, that is disaster, because just like any relationship, whether marriage, friendship, or just relationships, without communication, it's impossible for anything to survive. So
Mm.
just communicate and find which way works for both of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful. I have nothing to add. I think that's a wonderful ending. And now I just actually I keep connecting the dots, because until we start talking, I didn't know you dance. But actually, the way I found you on Instagram, I saw some of your photos, which I think you were actually dancing because you had this beautiful dress, and the photos were just beautiful. And then I just clicked, I saw you were Zambian, and then I reached out. So
Ah.
now I'm connecting the dots. So if people want to follow you, like where they can find you, because I love those photos you have on Instagram.
Well, so my husband and I have a dance page on Instagram and Facebook. It's called the Happy Feet Dance Project, because my husband has really happy feet. Oh, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I use um, Burren Dos, Burren Chilu Dos.
Yeah, I
So
will put the links under the video so people can find it
yeah, yeah.
and
I
they can
forgot. I
follow
forgot
you.
what my Instagram looks like. But yeah, so all my dance videos and what I do is there. So my dancing, my YouTube channel is called Burren the Zambian Girl, because I
Oh, I
really
have to
want
check it
everybody to
out.
know. I want everybody to know I'm Zambian, because sometimes people can't really know. So I always want to put it out there that I am from Zambia, even though I haven't been to Zambia in a long time. But I am still Zambian.
I was about to say that when you are coming, we have to meet. We have like our husbands need to meet. We need to dance,
Yes,
and I think I need to see you dancing kizomba with your father.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. But yes, it would be so nice to see you. It'll be so nice to see you in person and just dance. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully soon.
Yes, yes, we will be in touch. And thank you so much, Burren, for accepting this invitation. This was really fun, unexpected topics, but really thank you. And if you are watching, whoever you are watching, and have any question, just drop it in the comments under the video. We will try to get back to you. So thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.